Well, thank you for coming. My name is Jeff CRAM from ISITE Design. I will be the moderator today. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer, so if the panel is not great, it's completely my fault. So we've got a great these folks are great. ISITE Design was involved in kind of organizing the panel, and we have a special interest in making EDU better from a digital perspective. So thank you for coming out here on day one of FutureM. I know there's a lot of competition for great sessions. I was eyeing the sports marketing one going on at the same time and figured I should probably be here. We've got a great panel. I just wanted to kind of set the tone for what we'll be talking about before I introduce the folks up. To get going, I just want to give a shout out to our friends at the University of Michigan who traveled the furthest. If you didn't catch it, one of the most exciting college football games in the history of college football happened this last weekend, and Tom was there in person cheering on Blue. So congratulations. So why this panel matters, I think, and why it matters especially for the week of FutureM. I'm excited to kind of frame this panel because about a year ago, we wrote an article in Fast Company called Why Our College is Flunking Web Strategy 101. And it wasn't negative as much, it was questioning some of the fundamental aspects of what's happening inside EDU, how marketing and digital are really taking over the opportunity for marketing and digital inside EDU, and just the changing nature of the business model. And the struggles that EDU has from a cultural perspective, from a momentum perspective, and just from staffing to make great things happen with marketing and digital. So that's something we care a lot about. And so when I looked at this panel, I said, who are people out there actually making this happen? Because there's such great things happening inside EDU, and Boston's such a great college town. Michigan, of course. But I had no problem finding some great folks. So we've got 4 great panelists today to talk about the future of marketing inside higher education. I'm opening a lot of questions as well. But the backdrop here is really interesting because most of you probably already know, the entire higher education business model is not under question, but definitely going through a very disruptive time period. There's a lot of contrarian thinking out there in terms of what the future is or isn't, and the folks that are working inside EDU are having to face some challenges that we didn't have 5-10 years ago. The opportunity for digital marketing is significant. The disruption of what technology can or can't do, and how, as an institution, you take advantage of that. I think there's more opportunity than not, but it's a really interesting time to be in this space. Things like mobile, just sweeping over the entire landscape and forcing colleges to really rethink the way that you connect with students, alumni online. And EDU is noticing. Some of you probably saw this a while back, or some of you didn't. It was an XKCD cartoon. I think every campus marketer or someone working in web probably has this pinned up in their cubicle. But this really, to me, spoke to just the fundamental disconnect often between what happens inside a college and just how insular and internal the thinking is with the operating model inside EDU, and what folks on the outside are really looking for when it comes to helping them engage with the institution or get to know the institution. And certainly it's not this bad, but there's a lot of just real challenges that happen, and oftentimes this gets played out on the college homepage in terms of the political battleground that you're looking at for how you reconcile some of these internal needs versus the external needs. So something that we care a lot about. So what does this all mean? I think it means that the goalposts are moving, to stay with my gratuitous sports analogy. I think it means that the status quo is not the way forward, and it's not just about an evolution, but it's about really rethinking the way that marketing and digital fits into higher education especially. And I think the 4 people that we have here on the panel today are really tackling that head on. I think the other thing you're seeing is that we're really moving beyond what I call the university website. That for a while you had this website as the vehicle for the hub of your communications, and the website is obviously still mission critical, right? But it's just a piece of the overall journey. When you layer in social and mobile and all these different channels that people are interacting with the college. So we're going to explore some of those topics, and I think we're going to explore the shift that we see happening between, I think, what was largely, and still is in a lot of cases, a tension between marketing and IT, or communications and IT, kind of bridging these gaps. And that's where a lot of the tension often is inside EDU and outside of EDU. But I think what's happening is that digital is moving to the center of the way a university operates. And I think that shift is causing some very exciting changes from the way that teams are structured, from the way that you think about marketing. So that's the backdrop here. Without further ado, I want to invite our panelists up at this point. Great panelists. So we're going to spend about 30 to 45 minutes going through some questions and talking to the panelists. If there are burning questions that you have that are just timely and you want to get them out, certainly raise your hand as we go through. We'll open it up to Q&A towards the end and hopefully extend the conversation. So don't want to do the panelists justice. I'll let them introduce themselves and talk about their roles in review.
So I'm Mike Petroff. I am the Web and Technology Manager for the Enrollment Office at Emerson College. I've been working there for about 5 years now. I'm also a graduate of the grad program at Emerson College too.
I'm Tom Baird, Vice Chancellor for Institutional Advancement at the University of Michigan Dearborn for 2 more days. My responsibilities are as an integrated advancement model with fundraising, alumni relations, and marketing communications, and web is part of that.
I'm Gene McGinn, Digital Marketing Director at Babson College. New to that role, I actually have been in this role for 6 months and have been in other parts of the institution for a little over 10 years. So a lot of variety of marketing roles. Actually started in web communications, so I'm bringing back into the digital space where my heart is. And we've started a new group there at Babson to kind of really help an institution-wide digital strategy take place.
I'm Carrie Hewitt. I'm Harvard University's first ever Chief Digital Officer. Harvard is the football powerhouse that's located right and the scope of my responsibility is to get that first Venn diagram to that second Venn diagram. It's pretty much my new job description. So, primary responsibility within public affairs and communications to communicate to the university's core audiences, but also increasing my role within alumni affairs and